Hello, everyone, and welcome to In Depth. I'm Dr. Elaine Anthony. This program is designed to have real and deep conversations about news that affects everyone in our community, and we take it from that point of view. Today, we go in depth with two candidates seeking the Democratic nomination for Transportation Commissioner of the Central District. The candidates are business owner and mayor of Edwards, Mississippian Marcus Wallace, and our state senator from District 13, Senator Willis Simmons. There are also two Republican candidates vying for the nomination, who we will also extend an invitation to on a future program. For now, we welcome both candidates for the Democratic nomination. Gentlemen, welcome to In Depth. We're very pleased to have you both here.
Thank you.
And I would like to thank you. And I would like to ask each one of you, why do you think that you're the best candidate for the job?
Well, I'll go first. Again, Dr. Anthony, thank you for having me this morning, having us this morning. I think I'm a best candidate for the job because I have a passion for people. I've been in business for over 20-some years in construction, which I've done a lot of municipality, public type projects, and I'm also in my second term as mayor of Edwards. And to be a mayor of a small town, you have to have passion for people because the pay is truly not there. Over the years, I've had the opportunity to bless a lot of individuals as far as employment, and which leads to one of my slogans on the campaign. It's about improving quality of life for all citizens in all communities.
Okay, all right, Senator Simmons.
I feel I'm the best person for the job in this particular situation, running for Transportation Commissioner of the Central District. First of all, I'm a public servant. Going back to my veteran days, I'm a Vietnam veteran as a servant. I've served as a school teacher, served as a state employee. So I've been around state government forever and ever. In addition to that, I've served 26 years in the state Senate. And during the time that I was in the state Senate, I served 10 years of that chairing the Appropriation Committee for Transportation. That meant I was putting together the $1.3 billion budget that the transportation has to deal with. And in that process, I learned to work with the bureaucrats, those individuals who work with the Department of Transportation. I worked with the other elected commissioners who were there at the time for 10 years, putting that budget together and making sure that we put as much money into the Department of Transportation as possible to make sure that we could take care of our roads and bridges. But the transportation as a whole, with all of that experience, it makes me a person who is ready to go to work on the job the very first day that I am sworn in, working as a commissioner to make sure that we advocate for and take care of our infrastructure system.
Okay. All right. When we come back, we will go a little bit deeper with both of our candidates and their backgrounds. Today, you're watching In Depth. Welcome back, everyone. Both candidates vying for the Democratic nomination for Transportation Commissioner from the Central District are with us, and we're very, very happy to have both of you here. We want to get just a little bit deeper into your backgrounds and talk a little bit more about why you would like to have this particular position. Mr. Wallace, explain how your background qualifies you for this job.
Well, again, I've been pretty much in business and public serving as mayor of Edwards for the last 2 terms. And I feel it's really good to have both qualities because it's good to be a public servant, but it's also good to be a businessman who knows how to stimulate the economy, which is what I feel is a real big problem here in the state of Mississippi. Outsourcing contracts to out-of-town companies doesn't help our economy. One of the biggest things with the Continental Tire plant project, the first phase was cutting trees and moving dirt. and the state spent about $54 million, and no local company pretty much got opportunities on that. That's a real big problem because it trickles down. If you don't stimulate the economy with the contractors, the architects, the engineers on these projects, then it trickles down into convenience stores, it trickles down into everything else, education system and all. So I think that we need to get more people in leadership that have a passion for people. We somehow got to get back to the understanding that the power of politics is in the people, not in the purse. And if we do that, I think we can stimulate our economy back.
Okay. Senator Simmons, why should voters vote for you for Central District Commissioner?
Voters should vote for me because I will be a person as the commissioner who will be in touch and knowledgeable of what the needs are for our transportation infrastructure system. Many individuals think about transportation and they think about roads and bridges. That's very important to the transportation system. But our transportation system is very unique and very diverse in that when you think about the Central District is the connector for the state of Mississippi and other parts of the nation. When you think about the Central District is where the capital city is, Jackson. Jackson is where Interstate 55 and Interstate 20 connects, running the east and west and south and north. But in addition to that, it's where 49 connects the Gulf Coast to the Mississippi Delta. So you come into the Mississippi state capital at Jackson, and we have those connectors in the transportation system. But in addition to that, our rail system, we the commissioners are responsible for taking care of the transportation system as a whole. So rails is part of that. The city of Jackson, Vicksburg, Meridian, very involved in the rail system, but also our ports. And we have ports over on the Tom-Bigby. We have ports in the Mississippi River. 4 of the ports in the state of Mississippi is in the Central District: Rosedale, Greenville, Vicksburg, and Port Gibson. So you have our ports, our rails, our roads, and our bridges, but there's another facet of the transportation system that we overlook sometimes, and that is public transit. Public transit is very important because being a rural state as we are in, on the west side of Interstate 55, the Mississippi Delta and Southwest Mississippi, public transit become very important in getting our elderly and other folks to health care and other kinds of needs that they have, even to work. We have a situation going on in the Mississippi Delta now where FedEx has employed some 300 individuals, and they are being transported from the Delta to FedEx to work. They come back home and spending their money in Mississippi, so that's important that they're working and being paid a decent wage in FedEx, but they're being transported there. Otherwise, they probably would not be able to take those jobs. So public transit is very important. And one of the things that I want to do as a result of after becoming a commissioner is to take a look at our veterans and see how much of a problem that they are having, because some of them are having problems being transported because we don't have a VA center in the Mississippi Delta. They need transportation to go where that VA center is, whether it be in Oxford, Jackson, or whatever the case may be. So public transit becomes very important. So when you think about all of our transportation needs around public transit, our transportation needs around the rails, around the airports, and we have 5 airports. The city of Jackson has 2 airports here. We have an airport in Cleveland, 1 in Greenville, and 1 in Meridian. So the Central District, again, it's kind of like the hub of transportation, and it's a connector that makes things happen. We have to make sure that our commerce can move to the businesses that need it. There's no 18-wheeler unloading at the end of an interstate. They get off the interstate system and get on a state road, a county road, and a city road to get the product where it needs to be. So we as a commissioner must be in tune with that. I, as your next commissioner, was aware of those kind of things, and I've been a fighter for raising dollars, necessary revenue, necessary to take care of the roads and bridges to make them safe and make our commerce available. So there's some projects specifically we'll talk about in the future, but those are the kind of things that a commissioner will be doing, and that's the reason that the citizens should vote for Willis Simmons as their next commissioner, a person who has the experience and the knowledge and know what needs to be done to take care of and give us a first-class, second-to-none infrastructure system.
All right. Mr. Wallace, tell us in your words, what would you do upon taking this particular position? What would be some of the first things that you would do? And strategically, tell us what your plan would be.
Well, as Senator stated, Transportation Commissioner is responsible for highways, state roads, airports, ports, public transit, those things. And as Transportation Commissioner, there are a couple of things that I would identify and focus on. One, being a two-term mayor, I'm fully aware of the grass cutting program, which is a part of beautification, and it needs to be enhanced. There are small town and rural areas where their grass cutting may come between 4 and 6 weeks, as opposed to some of the other cities that grass is cut 1 to 2 weeks. And again, which leads back to my slogan, it's about all citizens in all communities. The folks in the small towns and rural areas, they want their exits to be well groomed just as well as the bigger cities. Another problem that I have identified that needs to be enhanced is the lighting of disadvantaged areas. If you drive down 20 West at night, Edwards exit is completely dark. Folks don't even know we're open for business. And with Continental Tire coming in our area, which is 9 miles from Edwards, we shouldn't have to beg and ask for lighting and improvements on our exits and highways in that area when we should look the same as county line to Canton. And also it attracts businesses. If you put lighting in those areas, it attracts businesses, because when developers come, being in business, I myself look at that as well. You look at the lighting and the landscaping of the areas and how it attracts traffic. Another part of beautification that I want to really focus on is beautifying our exits. If you travel to North Carolina, South Carolina, the welcome centers and the exits look like parks. Right now, we honestly don't know when you leave Clinton and enter Jackson, because we don't have anything to attract a traveler to say welcome to Jackson or welcome to Edwards or those areas. And there is a pot of money in the Transportation Commissioner's department that allows you to beautify the exits. And I'm not just talking about putting shrubs on the exits. I'm talking about identifying the name of that town, flag poles representing your state, lighting, and good landscaping. And the other big thing that I'm pushing, as far as what I would push as a Transportation Commissioner, is local. What I mean by that is, being in construction for over 20-some years, I've seen, again, where contracts are outsourced to out-of-town companies, and they come in and make the money and take the tax revenue out of the state of Mississippi. Well, I want to push local, being black and white, not just minority, but black and white, because we have a lot of talent here in the state of Mississippi to get the job done on any project, on anything that comes through the Transportation Commissioner's office. But if we don't, there are projects we come into where we need that extra artillery. Well, I still want to exercise local, because if we allow the local businesses and the local folks to go out and get these talents from out of town and come back and present, it still keeps the local businesses in charge. And again, that would stimulate the economy.
All right. Well, we want to put a pin there, because when we come back, I would like to ask both of you about certain specific projects, and you named one already, but I'd like to ask you, what are some of the other projects that you would like to see ongoing in the Central District Office? And we'll be back with In Depth. Welcome back, everyone. The Mississippi Department of Transportation has been underfunded by the state legislature, and many blame lawmakers for the state's crumbling highways and broken bridges that we've been talking about. The next Transportation Commissioner will need to come in with fresh ideas on how to deal with the crisis. We would like to rejoin with the two of you and ask the question, what are some of the projects that you will push, even though we're in this state with the budget? what projects would be at the top of your list, and what would you push, Senator?
Yeah, many. First of all, it is going to the legislative body and working in collaboration with the legislators. And I have a relationship at the state capitol that I'm leaving, so it would be easy to work with those legislators, but work in collaboration with the other two commissioners who will be elected, along with the boards of supervisors and the municipal leadership, because it's going to take a collaborated effort put forth by all of us to convince and get the legislative body to fully understand and engage and know that public safety and business opportunities are only going to exist, and Mississippi is only going to do well if we have a good state-of-the-art, first-class transportation infrastructure system. And you have to pay for that. And the only way to pay for that, you can't pay for it by going to the casino and winning a lottery or winning some jackpot. It's going to be paid for by the citizen of the state, but you also have other folks coming through the state. We have not, Dr. our fuel tax at the pump since 1989. At that particular time, you could get free water, you could get free air. You pay for all that stuff now, but we have not increased the price. And Mayor Wallace knows, because he's in the construction business, that the cost to construct a road or a bridge has increased tremendously, but we haven't done so. So my first task would be to help generate the funds. Our budget in transportation is funded at about 42% by the federal government. So we only put about 58% of the dollars that we put into our infrastructure system from the state tax dollars that's there. So we need to take a look at that. So that'll be one of my first tasks. I was born in Utica, Mississippi, in Hinds County, out on Highway 27. And one of the projects that I would work towards doing, I traveled Highway 27 from Vicksburg over to 55, 20 to 55, a couple of days ago at 7:30 in the morning, 7:30 a.m. And from Vicksburg on Highway 27, a little two-lane, crooked, curvy road highway, pretty decent highway, but it's not capable of transporting and taking care of 48 18-wheelers that I pass on my way from Crystal Spring, from Vicksburg to Crystal Spring. That is a major problem, and it is a death trap for many individuals. Our kids riding on school buses and other things. So that would be one of the projects that I would work on as we generate funds for the transportation system, so that we must increase and enhance that Highway 27. I also went to school down at Alcorn, and in the 87 AHEADS program, every segment of the AHEADS program has been completed except for the part of the highway at Port Gibson, Mississippi. That would be one of the projects that I would work towards, making sure that we complete that so that the AHEADS programs would be completed. Money was made available in 1987 when they put that program in place, but we haven't finished that, so that'll be a priority for me.
I've got a quick question that I just want to interject here from what you just said. You said that there were certain percentages of state funds, and there were also certain percentages of federal funds. How would you attract those federal dollars?
I'm going to, again, and that's having relationships and being prepared to go to work day one. As soon as I become commissioner, I'm going to work toward establishing a better and closer relationship with me as the commissioner for the Central District with the federal folks, because again, if we can get more federal dollars coming in, it means that we can do more. But I'm also going to be working closely with our state legislators and the governor's office, as well as the speaker and the lieutenant governor, whoever they may be. And I'm going to be working with the boards of supervisors, because all of us, when we sit down together, the commissioners of highways and transportation, along with the supervisors, the mayors, and the legislators, I think we'll come to a decision that our infrastructure system is in great need of repair and need resources, so we would do that. But in addition to that, one other project that I would work toward doing is making sure we have in the Central District over 800 employees. Many of those employees are out working on our highways, and it's unsafe oftentimes because too many have been killed or injured while working. We got to make sure that our work zone for our highway system is safe for our employees, but also safe for the contractors who work. So that would be another project that I would work toward in addition to the public transit system to make it better.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Now, Mr. Wallace, tell us some of your ideas and what would you put in place. We've already mentioned that the department is underfunded. What would you do?
Well, Dr. Anthony, this is the part where I don't sugarcoat. Being a contractor for 20-some years and being a two-term mayor, I've had the best of seeing the reality of the best of both worlds. I totally agree with Senator Simmons as far as working with the legislature and trying to develop a better relationship. But we first got to we got to dismantle the political cliques, is what I call, in the state capitol. When you look at the appropriations list and you look at the things that have been done through the Transportation Commissioner's Department and just other state-funded, projects, it always seems that the political cliques get what they want and the other areas become disadvantaged. And the first thing I would do, which I would clearly consider this as a project, I will take a look at the landscaping and reprioritize how we spend money. True enough, we do need extra money and extra funds in the Transportation Department, but let's prioritize and do the right thing with the funds that we have. And what I mean by that is, let's not spend $12 million on a bridge in Madison and then put dirt piles at the end of bridges in the rural areas and the small towns. That's not fair. That's not improving quality of life for everyone. These folks in the small towns or rural areas are completely frustrated because they've had to drive 20 minutes out of their way to go to and from home almost a year and a half. That's not fair because they pay taxes just as everybody else. So we would really prioritize the funding that we do have and put emphasis on other areas to try to help grow and develop them as well. Another thing that I would do, which is what I would consider a project, is looking at the major sinkholes and the state roads, Highway 14, Highway 17 up in Holmes County. Just had a road in Humphreys County with a major sinkhole in the middle of the road, and these folks having problems getting to and from home now because the entire road is actually washed away. Well, being in construction, I'm knowing that when a road washes away like that, that takes months and months and years for dirt to wash off. So that tells me that the inspectors have not been doing their job properly to evaluate these roads. They only focus on the major roads and the major highways, but again, it's about improving quality of life for everyone. So we would really look at that as well. And of course, infrastructure is a big issue. It's nothing new. So it's a matter of establishing a relationship with the legislator and really harboring. Another thing that I've seen being mayor is the legislators or the leaders who basically have a problem with not voting for something or whatever. You got to understand, people vote for us to get in office to vote, whether you vote for or against something, but you cannot vote at all because that's just like you're voting. It's almost saying you're for that idea or topic that's on the table. So we got to change the landscape. If we're going to really change the state of Mississippi and get the economy back stimulated, we got to get rid of the political cliques. We got to get rid of the personal interests in leaders' areas and focus on the entire Central District.
All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen. And we'll be right back with In Depth. Welcome back, everyone. We're now going to have closing remarks from our candidates. Both of you have about a minute and a half to kind of close and tell us about your platforms and your constituency. Mr. Wallace.
Well, again, my name is Marcus Wallace, and I am running for Transportation Commissioner of Central District. I've had a lifelong career of just a passion for people. I've helped so many children in this community, in this state. I've helped so many elderly folks and homeless folks, and my resume speaks for itself. I'm putting the business part to the side to get on the public side to really help make life better for everyone. All I ask the citizens is to remember when you go to the polls, remember those holes at the polls. Remember the potholes all over the place when you go to the polls. Remember those dirt piles at each bridge that they put when you go to the polls. And just remember that it's time for new energy and a new era. And I'm that person to bring the new energy. Again, my name is Marcus Wallace, Transportation Commissioner for the Central District. Please vote for me on August 6th.
Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Senator Simmons.
My name is Willis Simmons. Many of you know me as Senator Willis Simmons because I've been in the Senate now for 26 years. I ask that you take a look at my record. When you look at my record, you're going to find that I am one who's committed to fighting for the good of the state of Mississippi, but in particular for those that I represent. You look at my record, you will see that I have accomplished many things. One thing that I would like to just say to you, especially for the citizens here in the city of Jackson, the Woodrow Wilson Bridge was in much need of repair. It was in such bad shape that debris was falling off the bridge, and the train was thinking about not even utilizing that system. It was I who stood up and made sure that we received $4 million put in the budget, and that's one of those things that people don't like to hear and talk about because we had to earmark it to get it to that project, working with the mayor and the local community. We want to continue to work doing that with the mayors throughout this district and make it happen. Another one that we're real proud of is Highway 552 at Alcorn State University. When I was at Alcorn, that road killed a lot of individuals, and one of my priorities coming into the state senate was to make sure that we four-laned it and made it safer. We did that. As your commissioner, we want to continue to work towards and build upon the relationships we have to get more dollars into the system, to take care of our infrastructure system, and we're going to take care of, regardless of whether you're a senior citizen needing public transit or a parent needing to make sure that their kids are safe on the buses and the ambulance can get to the houses that's needed when a person is in need. So vote for me on August 6th as your next commissioner for the Central District.
Thank you very, very much, gentlemen. I'm your host, Elaine Anthony, and thank you for watching In Depth.